With vigorous project communications, your chances of success soar and your frustration will fall off dramatically. What happens if you ignore project communications? To illustrate the consequences of ignoring communications and managing expectations, I would like to relate the personal experience of one of my clients. His team was installing a new software application for traders who buy and sell commodities. He had used most of the communication techniques you will hear in this book, and things had gone very well. However, my client found himself in the same tough situation that all project managers find themselves in at one time or another. It was a long project coming into the final months. However, because the project team began to get sloppy with its communications, the traders' expectations were not being managed carefully, and a storm of resistance to the new software began to build up. Unfortunately, if something wasn't done quickly, the final few months threatened to undo all the goodwill that had been built up over the previous 18 months within the commodities group. While many of the issues that caused the resistance were more complex than is necessary to detail here, the critical failure factor in this instance was a basic flaw in his communication strategy, the earlier reference to sloppy. The project manager and his team had fallen into the habit of communicating with the business users only through email. As most of us know, between the tremendous amount of daily email, most of it barely necessary, coupled with spam, most people will ignore email after a while, particularly if it is seen as simply a status update. This is what happened to this project manager. So how did he fix the problem? First, the team worked together, and instead of relying on only email updates, he built a new and more hearty communications plan that provided several rich communication events such as brown bag lunches and town hall meetings. Richness is explained in more details in Chapter 5, Common Elements for All Communications, in addition to email updates and personal phone calls. We also created a series of very targeted messages to key commodity traders who could influence others on their team. These changes and some other technical fixes helped him to finish the project with the amount of goodwill that the project team deserved based on the terrific job they had done. So what will you get from this book? This book will give you the foundation of all communications, whether written or oral. Chapter 5, Common Elements for All Communications, covers the basics for all types of communications and helps you build those communications for the maximum effect. Throughout the book, you will hear about a wide variety of tools, templates, and techniques to help you prepare and deliver these communications for a wide range of audiences and purposes. In Chapter 12, Using Communication to Handle Risks, you will hear how effective communications can help you manage an assortment of risks. This is important because new technology has increased business risk and, consequently, the requirement for high degrees of project management competency in communications. It has raised the ante for project success due in no small part to the extraordinary investments companies have made by implementing new technologies and systems. Now the management teams of these organizations are demanding the same return on investment, ROI, that they would expect after building a refinery or any other major capital project. A good illustration of the growing acceptance of project management methodology is the phenomenal growth of the Project Management Institute, PMI, the world's largest nonprofit professional organization that promotes the art and science of project management. Founded in 1969 with fewer than 100 members, by 1979 membership was still only 2,000. By 1990, the organization still had less than 10,000 members. However, by the turn of the century, membership had swollen to 50,000. As of the writing of this book, PMI boasts over 150,000 active members residing in 140 countries across the globe. Business project management. The wide varieties of demands placed on organizations